Good morning to one and all present here. I am Sudha, Assistant Professor, Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. I am going to take the topic Functional Units of Computer. First, the introduction. Just as buildings, each computer has a visible structure, referred to as its architecture. Computer architecture is the one of the practical art of selecting and interconnecting hardware components to create computers, which meets functional, performance and cost goals, and the formal modeling of those systems. Some of the functional blocks in the computers are central processing unit, memory unit, input unit and output unit. First one is central processing unit. The CPU, which is also referred to as the brain of the computer. We can call it as a microprocessor or simply processor. CPU consists of three parts. First one is arithmetic logic unit and control unit and the registers. First, we are going to see about the arithmetic logic unit. The ALU, which contains electronic circuits necessary to perform arithmetic and logical operations. Some of the arithmetic operations are add, subtract, multiply, divide and etc. Some of the logical operations are compare, shift, rotate, add, or and sum these. Control unit analyzes each instructions in the program and the relevant signals to all the other units. ALU, memory unit and the registers. Communications inside the computer happens like some instructions and the data are fed into the computer through the input unit and stored in the memory. In order to execute the program, the instructions have to be fetched from the memory one by one. This fetching of instructions is done by the control unit. After instruction is fetched from the control unit, it decodes the instructions. According to the instruction, the control unit issues control signals to the other units. After the instruction is executed, the result of the instruction is stored in the memory or stored temporarily in the control unit or ALU, so that this can be used by the next instruction for the execution. The results of the program are taken out of the computer through the output unit. The control unit, ALU and registers are collectively called as the CPU or central processing unit. Some of the interconnections of units are, it consists of both instructions and data. The program is fed into the computer through the input unit and stored in the memory. In order to execute the program, the instructions have to be fetched from the memory one by one and stored into the registers for processing. The fetching of the instructions is done by the control unit. Instructions are fetched and executed by the control unit one by one. This is called as the instruction cycle. The sequence involved for the fetch of one instruction and its execution are known as instruction cycle. Set of wires which are used for the interconnection is known as the system bus, which carry group of bits in a controlled manner. Can be divided into three logical units, which is collectively called as address bus, data bus and the control bus. First, we are going to see about the data bus. The data bus is used when any unit is sending data, instruction or command code to the some other units. Next, address bus. The address bus is used when one unit is sending an address information, that is the location of the data residing in the memory, to the other unit. The address bus and data bus is collectively known as system bus. Next, we are going to say about the control bus. The control bus is responsible for making CPU, memory and input-output devices work together as a functional system, carrying the signals which report the status of the various units of the computer. Next, the function of the control bus is to determine and instruct the according to the operation type, for example read or write operations. Next, processing of the information. The bus is common to all the units in the computer. Before sending some information on the bus, an unit should verify whether the bus is free or occupied with some communication started by some other units. CPU is the bus master in a computer, which decides who could control the bus when the one unit wants the bus at the same time. Interconnection of the computer units. We are interconnect the computer units through the bus, which shows that how the system bus interconnects the processor, memory and the input-output devices. Both the processor and memory unit holds the bidirectional relationship with the control bus and the data bus. In case of address bus, the communication with processor and memory is unidirectional. Processor provides location of data to be fetched from the memory to the address bus and the data carries the required data to the processor. Input-output devices have a bidirectional relationship with the system bus. Next, we are going to discuss about the registers. It is a special temporary storage location within the CPU. Registers quickly accept, store and transfer data and instructions that are being used immediately. To execute an instruction, the control unit of the CPU retrieves it from the main memory and places it onto a register. The typical operations that take place in the processing of instructions are part of the instruction cycle, which is known as execution cycle. The instruction cycle refers to the retrieval of the instructions from the main memory and its subsequence at the decoding. Next, arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit performs all the arithmetic and logical functions. It performs arithmetic as well as the logical functions. The speed of the computer is determined by using the architecture of the processor which is used in the particular system. Next, control unit. Control unit is responsible for directing and coordinating most of the computer system activities. It doesn't execute instructions by itself. It tells other parts of the computer system what to do. It determines the movement of the system. To complete an event, that is the processing or control unit repeats the set of 4 basic operations. Some of them are fetching, decoding, executing and storing. Fetching is the process of obtaining a program, instruction or data item from the memory. Decoding is the process of translating the instructions into commands the computers can execute. Executing is the process of carrying out the commands. Storing is the process of writing the result back to the memory. Next, the internal communication inside a computer that transforms raw data into useful information is called processing. To perform this transformation, computer uses 2 components, which one is processor and the memory. The program is fed into the computer through the input unit and stored in the memory. To execute the program, the instructions have to be fetched from memory one by one, which is done by the control unit. Then the control unit decodes the instructions. After instructions is executed, the result of the instruction is stored in the memory or stored temporarily in the register. The results of the program are taken out of the computer through the output unit. Final one is the memory. Memory is the computer's electronic cache pad or local store in computer terminology. There are 2 types of memory. First one is primary and the second one is secondary. Primary memory, which is also known as the main memory, it is a part of the main computer system. The primary memory, it is of 2 types. First one is random access memory and then read-only memory. Random access memory, which directly stores and retrieves information from it. Memory is organized into 2 locations. Each memory location is identified by the unique address. It is a volatile, which means when turned off the system, everything in RAM disappears. There are 2 types of RAM. First one is dynamic random access memory, which is shortly known as DRAM. Then next one is static random access memory, is SRAM. We are going to see about the cache memory. Cache memory is one of the temporary memory, that is high speed memory kept in between processor and RAM to increase the data execution speed, which is kept near to the processor. Cache fetches the frequently used data from the DRAM and stores it for the further processor. Next, we are going to see about the processor speed. The speed of the computer system is determined by several factors, by using the clock speed of the processor and the speed and size of the data bus. We can represent it by heads. The large bus width and the faster the bus speed and the register the amount of data can travel it on the given amount of time. Next, we are going to see about the input devices, that is any peripherals used to provide data and control signals to an information processing system such as a computer or other information appliances. Some of the input devices are keyboard, mouse, etc. Next, output devices, that is any piece of computer hardware equipment used to communicate the results of the processed data to the user. Some of the output devices are monitors, printers, speaker, etc. Next, we are going to see about the important questions in this topic. First is write a note on computer architecture. Next question is what is a system bus? Name the various units of the system bus. And what is the significance of main memory in proper functioning of the processor. Then what is an instruction cycle? Next we are going to see about the detailed questions. We have to understand the CPU unit, describe in details various units of the CPU. And next question is write a detailed note on the instruction cycle describing the various steps involved. And the last question is describe in details processor to memory communication, processor to input output devices communication. Finally, we have to summarize this topic. First one is computer organization and architecture is defined as the science of selecting and interconnecting hardware components to create computers that meet functional, performance and cost goals. The CPU is the brain of the computer where all the computing is done. The control unit controls the input and output devices and transfers the data to and from the primary storage. Arithmetic unit is responsible for carrying out the arithmetic and logical operations. The logical unit provides CPU the ability to make logical operations like comparing two data items and taking different actions based on the result of the comparison. Register, which is a temporary storage, also the special purpose high speed and temporary storage units used by the processor for holding. The cache is the piece of very fast memory made from high speed static RAM that reduces the access time of the data. Then instructions comprises two parts, namely the opcode and the operand. They are transferred one at a time into the processor where they are decoded and executed. Next, the instruction cycle, it is the sequence of events that takes place as an instruction is to read from memory and executed. Next, fetch cycle. Fetch cycle is to be executed by fetching from the memory to the processor. The decode cycle is responsible for recognizing the operands that instruction represents, activating the correct circuitry to perform the operations. During the execute cycle, the operation specified by the output is performed on user provided data in the ALU. Store cycle stores the result back to the memory. The processors are built with the ability to execute the limited set of basic operations. The speed of the processor is measured by megahertz or speed per second. So there are two notable factors which are based on the speed of the processor depends on clock speed of the processor and speed and the size of the data bus. Thank you.